This is, I'm talking about. Good evening, heroes and heroines, for the second time. Hopefully you can hear me this time. And welcome to Practising Programming in C. We're going to be doing some more work on Cinera, and it looks like my webcam has moved somewhat a little bit. This is not very important in the slightest, but the fun thing is that I'd like the wardrobe to kind of like make a straight line from that corner. Yeah, that is what that is. This is a wardrobe, if you can sort of see. So yeah, welcome on the 10th of October 2019, which is the day that would have been the 60th birthday of Kirsty MacColl, if she was still alive. So in honour of her, the music today is some of hers. So the thing we're doing today, to start off with, is just speeding up it's the search. So let me see if I can illustrate this. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Intro to C and Handmade Hero are not being displayed. Ray, Chat and Miscellaneous will be displayed. If I do a search, you see that we sort of were presented with this empty space for a significant amount of time. And as I sort of, modify the query, you see that thing disappear. If I just enable Handmade Hero, that pops in. And you can see, hopefully, that there's like a flash, basically. You see that thing disappear. For the Intro to C, if I do that, you don't see that happening. So what's happening here, it also happens in either sorted directory as well. So the Intro to C is fine. Yeah, we are seeing that flash. And if we disable Handmade Hero, you're still getting the no information presented for those things. So what's basically happening behind the scenes is that these projects are all being searched. When you change the query, the projects get searched in the order in which they occur in this list, which means that this one gets searched first, this one gets searched second, this search gets searched third, fourth and fifth. And if one of these is disabled, you sort of, it delays the appearance of any information, basically. So what I'm proposing to do, to start off with, is just to change this thing. Rather than going through all of the projects, rather than searching through all the projects in this order, I'm going to, in a single loop, I'm going to instead do two loops. I'm going to do, first of all, a loop over all of the projects, and they're both going to be over all of the projects. But the first time through the loop, we're going to process the people who are visible. So in this case here, we're going to be processing Handmade Ray, Handmade Chat and Handmade Miscellany. And then in the second loop, we'll then mop up the other ones. So we'll then do the search for these guys. And I think that should be okay. Straight off the bat, I think just doing that should hopefully work. But I do think I foresee a potential problem, which might need handling, and that's basically if I do that search like this. So I can search through search Ray, search Chat, and search Miscellany, and then you do the search for Intro to C and Handmade Hero, that might mean that Intro to C and Handmade Hero end up getting put at the end of the list, basically, the list of results. So we'll see those people at the bottom, when really we should be seeing the miscellaneous projects at the bottom. So we might have to deal with that situation. But for starters, let's just do the 2 loops. Yeah, it's basically duplicating this loop. So I might like to pull this out into a function and make the function take a parameter, which is basically saying well, actually the project itself is going to contain the information itself, isn't it? Although I think we are going to have to say which ones we're actually talking about. So yeah, let's pull this out into a function. I think, just see what we need to actually take. It's possible this might have to be one of those functions that's declared in line, actually. Let's leave it as it is for now. Right. So, do we have that in the project actually? Do we know whether something is visible or not? Yeah, we can infer it from this, can't we? If it doesn't contain off. So, yeah, I assume since we're talking about that, we probably don't have a separate variable for it, I don't think. Gosh, where on earth is this thing? Prepare to pass episode. Right, here we go. So this is the actual data structure. So we've got parsed, filtered out. Right. So we've got that. Does that actually get used? Just check. That's toggle entries of produce and children. Console log first time. Filtered out. So yeah, we are using that. Right. Well, I think let's first of all see if it's parsed for starters. So you want to know if it's not filtered out. Now I think we do want another thing actually, which is essentially, has it been searched? Because if we don't have that, and say like we're going through these things, these are all on to start with. Has it been parsed? Yep. Is it not filtered out? So none of these are filtered out. And does it have any episodes? If it does, then we go and do the search. Right. Now, I suppose actually, now that I think about it, we might be able to get away without having to do this. The problem that I'm thinking about is, let us say that we initialize this, we get one of these searches going. It searches Intro to C, and it searches Handmade Hero. And while it's searching Handmade Hero, so while it's in here for Handmade Hero, we toggle off Intro to C. Right. This thing continues through, and it gets through to the invisible things. Now, while it's continuing to search these people, this was made, the Intro to C on Windows one was made invisible. So that would satisfy the criteria for this. And then search it again. And I think that should be I do think that should be a problem for us, because when we filter things out, we don't actually rerun the search, do we? So these are all the places that filtered out gets touched, and you can see there's no calls to run search. Yeah, which suggests to me that I do need to actually track the fact that something has been searched. Yeah, I do think that would be the same thing to do. So, there's a couple of ways I can deal with this now, deal with clearing this. And I think the way that I will clear it is make this guy, should I make this guy do it? I'll just do the thing. So it's passed, it's filtered out, and it hasn't been searched. And the prototype says length equal to the thingy. Then we do the whole thing. Now, I need to make sure that gets, the searched variable gets set to false. And I mean, yeah, I could just do that here, couldn't I? I mean, the alternative is to go through loop over all the projects. Do a loop before these searching loops, simply to set search to false. But I don't think there's any point in that. Let's just do that here. Yeah, there you go. So interesting to see. That's going to be popping up at the end, isn't it? Well, it's still searching. Yeah. Well, hang on. Basic Emacs. Where is intro to see? There's chat. Basic Emacs. So that is getting searched. So if I toggle it off, rerun the search, took the book out and it's not there at all. So run search in Cinera. Where does the actual thing get built up? That's from the results, isn't it? I think. Project container, yeah, so this is the thing that does that. And that's going over the projects. Which I think is fine. Let's take a look at the little console. So what we have here, so we've got that toggled off. Just bin this thing. So we're not outputting anything yet. I guess we want to we could just say print the project. Well, actually, I don't think we need the whole project, but screw it. And also, actually, let me do it within the if. Yeah, could do with a bit of a smaller thing. Intro to C. So yeah, I see Intro to C actually was one of the first. Was that expected? Yes, enabled. Oh, actually, let's leave it all on so we can see the whole. So we can see what's going on. So we've toggled that off. So I think there's one. Yeah, swoo. There we go. Intro to C just didn't got into. Now, why is that exactly? Var I0. It's the same loop. So the project. I guess we could just actually print out the project, can't we? And let's also just additionally say loop 2. Yeah, I suppose we will, won't we? Let's make loop 1 just say all of its stuff as well then, just so we know what's going on. And yeah, let's make it print the project. So let's try and just get our heads around this then. So loop 1, we're going to have this, then 2 things for the project. So not filtered out, it's passed. I think we should see that they're all passed. And yeah, that was the. So I guess loop 2. We should be expecting to only see the project printed out once. So we should see loop 2, then the project, and then we should see loop 2, then the project, which is exactly what we're seeing. Filtered out, passed. Now, sadly, it doesn't actually. it doesn't include. It manages just to miss out the searched. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Searched is saying false. In loop 2. Shouldn't they all have been searched? Was that just... Project searched. So this should be the case for all... What should this be the case for? If it's visible... If that... Where are these things lining up? So, yeah, that isn't quite where I want it to be, is it? It should really be here. Although down there it should have got caught, really, shouldn't it? What am I missing here? Why is... Well, should we just say? Just console log. I don't think you need that actually. Well, what's going on here? So that project has been searched. That project was Hero Code. Ray Software. Ah, was I just looking at things that might not have had any entries? That could have been the problem. So the project has been searched. So intro to C. This should surely be searched, shouldn't it? No. Well, is it toggled up? No, it's not toggled off either. Project.search is equal to true. So here's intro to C. I mean, we know that if we get in here, this project, where's this project? It's talking about this person. So I guess let's print out that project after having set search to true. We searched it. What am I missing? So bizarre. Let's just print out specifically project.searched. So we should be seeing, we searched it, exclamation mark, and we should be seeing true, shouldn't we? Because we've just said project.search is equal to true there, right? I mean, surely that's logical, isn't it? What's the problem? So now it does know that it's true, which is a good thing. So it knows that that's true. does that mean that we can trust that it is actually true? Maybe what's happening is when I open this out, it's re-evaluating it. And because I've set because I've reset it to false here, it's picked up that actually the actual reset. So there we go. We searched it true. What's this now saying? Searched is true. Yeah. So that's all that was going on. It's re-evaluating it. So now the question is, we can actually try and investigate the problem. Yeah, I do want to reset that actually. I suppose another way of looking at it actually is, since that's a bit of a problem for us, let us do the prior loop just to reset things. Well, hang on. Yes, that remains true, which is fine. That'll only get reset when it goes back through. Alright. What was that again? Searched. So yeah, we're looking at this project up here, and then we're looking at this project down here. So now the question is, why is loop 2 never actually getting into the case? There we go, search invisible projects. So we did get in here. So that then begs the question, where actually is it? Oh, it's down at the bottom. Yeah, okay, so it is showing up. So why wasn't I seeing that before, I wonder? I don't know. Don't know why I wasn't seeing that. So what we need to do is somehow make it so that this is what I thought we might have to do. Wasn't sure. We need to make it so that when we search these things, we're actually pushing them onto a sensible place, really, isn't it? Which we might not be doing. Yeah, the results to render. So I reckon what we need to do is, rather than having a global results to render, which is effectively what this is, isn't it? Yeah. I think what's going on here is that this has got a global results to render, and that's going to be initialized. Yeah, it's initialized somewhere else. It's initialized here. Yeah, I think we need to add to the projects the results to render. So when you perform the search, you stick all the results onto the respective arrays. And then the results to, when you do the render thingamajig, I hope we can just make this leap over the projects. Results index, what exactly is that? Okay. So that could go with each project. What about this? Could be mistaken, but this looks like it might be able to remain a global thing. I think. I'll have to see. But basically the things that we need to do are, first of all, I guess it's reset the project. So that means zeroing out the results to render, which is how you do that like this. Although this thing is, where is that actually taking us to? So if we're refreshing, or the last query is not that, then we do this. do we always null out the results to render? What happens if we only do this? Oops. Also, how can we actually get in here without modifying the last query? I guess what you could argue that, well, you don't even press enter, do you? I suppose, yeah, I mean, would that count? So there we go, we've got 3 things, so we can actually talk about these a bit more sensibly. Yeah, again, my question is like, how are you supposed to get into run search? Let's see. I mean, clearly when you load the page, you can get in, can't you? Oh, when you saw, yeah, of course. So that was fine, without me bothering to do. Am I right there? So in passing true, that means refreshed. Yeah, which I guess would actually get into here. So we're always going to get, yeah, as I say, we're always going to get to this results to render being cleared, basically. Like, I can't see a way that you can actually get in here without actually getting that to clear. That will happen. And then this one here is whenever this is whenever the input changes. Ah, that's where you need it. So yeah. So for some reason results index can go to 0. So apparently that's fine. So all I need to do is here loop over the projects, clearing out the results to render for each project. And similarly, I mean, it wouldn't hurt also to set the project to false. So it's only in the refresh case that you set the results index to be 0. And as I was saying, I think the results marker index can remain a global thing. So we don't have that anymore, nor do we have this anymore. So that is just 0. So what that means is the run search interior, when you call this, you want to be passing the actual project runs, yeah, the project itself. And then where the results to render was being used in render results, what we need to do is we say for each project, well, hang on, we want to change in this whole thing, we want to change sorry, the results index. We change this to project result index. And we need to change the results to render to also be preceded with project. So I don't know if that's going to be anywhere close, but let's see what happens. Oh, so something's going wrong here. We've got a while within that. That could be a problem, couldn't it? So the max items thing is supposed to be making it render one page of things. How on earth do you actually do the rest of them though? What's going on here? What is this saying exactly? That looks a bit off, doesn't it? What am I looking at? Is that just getting confused with these things? Maybe. I mean, it was working okay before, so I guess it's okay. So let's see if we at least get intro to C being displayed. Perfect. And yeah, if we search with the intro to C off, and then if we just put it back on, do we see intro C? We do see intro C. So now the question is simply, how do we loop over all the projects? But it's just not like that else. I mean, what should be its problem? We're simply going over the projects. Maybe the rendering true. So this test is if the results in this is less than results render. I think that 42 thing, I think the max items and the 42 should be a global thing. Yeah, I do think they should be global. Well, you know, not per project. Yeah, and then loop over the guys. I think this would be more appropriate. I think I'm still a bit worried about the rendering equals true situation. Yeah, but I think we nailed it. Actually, I think we have. So you sorted new to old, you do this search, and also, well, we're still seeing the flash, aren't we? So that, has that helped? I mean, it's quicker than it used to be, but maybe it just takes a while to kick off the next thing. I guess, yeah, I guess that just is the case. So I suppose we just have to suck it up, don't we? Yeah, I mean, at least we're not sitting there for, many, many seconds. It's a bit of a shame, though, that it doesn't kick them all off at the same time. I like how we're using K as our iterator here, because it was just one of the interior loops within here once upon a time. So what I'm looking for here is an explanation as to why we're seeing the the non-instant searching. Right, so these top two are invisible. Hang on a second. It doesn't render it, does it? It doesn't actually render it until it's got through this whole thing. I think that's the thing, isn't it? So yeah, what will happen is we're going to be, first of all, this loop here is going to be looping through, first of all, the handmade ray, handmade chat, and handmade miscellany. And then this loop loops over these two people. These guys are entirely identical, apart from the project.search thing. That's the only difference between those. Oh, and they're filtered out. So yeah, what if I just were to make this into a function that just says we're doing all this stuff. Is it visible? Are we doing the visible ones, or are we doing the invisible ones? If we're doing the visible, then we check if the thing is not filtered out. If we're doing the invisible ones, then we check that something is filtered out, and the on this. I think I do have to do it. I think I'm going to have to declare it in line as well. because we're calling an inline declared function. And the should render thing needs to be set. So there's your should render. Yeah, I think I might have to declare my function within her. So what is this going to be called? I mean, the visibility pass, the visible pass. So we need a way to get into this actual branch. Now, doesn't this look really cheesy when you're doing two passes? You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Yeah, I feel like it's just not really necessary. I mean, it's... Yeah, I mean, the main thing that we're talking about getting deduplicated is just this, really. So yeah, the question was, wasn't it, what's happening with this thing here? We're going over the visible ones first, and then we go over the invisible ones, and then we say should render. If we're already rendering, then we clear timeout. Otherwise we render results. So it's only after doing this that we actually render results. Now, Is there any harm in doing just another call? I wonder. Something's happening. Yeah, so it's started to fail. So you can't quite do that. And I suppose that's kind of fair enough. Because should render operates on everyone, doesn't it? So there we go. That searched a little bit quicker, I think. This was the thing that killed it. Yeah. Let's just double check that this is actually working. Yeah, it does seem to be. Yeah. All right. I suppose we're just gonna have to live with it. The thing that we're living with, by the way, is the flashing. So when you've got Intro to C on, you don't see any sort of lag with this getting shown, because it's the first thing. Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing that it searches. But there must be more to it than that. There must be. You know, because in this situation, Ray would be the first thing that it searches. So it's got to be the first thing it searches and some other criteria, I think. Yeah, we do re-render for speed, actually. Alright, I think I might say that that's good enough. We're now returning the. So how long have we been going? We're going for just over an hour. Yeah, the industry-wide instance-wide search page is something we need. Is there any more JavaScript stuff that we need to deal with? I suppose the downloaded data spinner might be considered JavaScript. lots of ticks here. For handmade guide. Yeah, this is what we're basically working on. Yeah, we've got the output parameter. We may now choose to use an output parameter here and miss. Can rename the file such that they end up in chronological order. Yeah, we have got that. But we haven't used that for here and miss yet. Which is something that we do need to remember to do. Before we push these changes for Hammered Network, we need to actually change everyone to use the output parameter. Document sorting. This is just that figuring out what to call that is just pure just administrivia, basically. Kind of. Not exactly sure what this is supposed to be talking about. What is that character supposed to be? Okay, so I think we've done all that we need to do for now on the JavaScript apart from the downloading data spinner. So I guess we can have a quick look at that, see what's kind of going on, what we think should be happening, see what is actually happening. What else have we got going on down here, actually? We could get rid of all of our console logs. I'm pretty satisfied that stuff is working. I think that one isn't, it's kind of an error message, kind of. What is this exactly? Index filter. So there's only one console log now. What's this one? Yeah, so where do we see this now? Okay, yeah, we don't need this. This is just telling us what the content of this thing is. Let's just have a quick gander at the actual real thing to see if that happens here. Yeah, it doesn't. I think this is just something to do with it being a local file, I think. Does that make sense? I don't know. Spinner. To something about that. So there's 3 occurrences of this. It's saying show. Show, show. So where do we actually remove that? So there's remove. And we remove that. Prepare to pass index file. Now, query selector spinner, is that actually the class list for that? Div class spinner it is. So you can see that we've got show there. We're just never removing the show. So the spinner is supposed to be saying, it's communicating the fact that it's downloading data. Does that get called again anywhere? So this is, I've declared that simply for the privilege of calling it. Okay. So the hiding of the spinner happens in prepare to parse index file. After it's parsed the file. Is that true? We're preparing to parse index file. We do all of this stuff. I mean, this is actually doing the parse, isn't it? Now, with that being the case, how is that happening there before the actual GET request? How have I done that? I mean, if I do that after, then what happens? I mean, it seems to make no difference. So I wonder if it's reasonable to show the spinner here and then stop showing it in this file function. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's this got to do with... What's the search got to do with showing the spinner? Show the download spinner? Yeah, I feel like that's a saner way of doing it. Yeah, and once it's downloaded, it's never part of the picture, because all the stuff is downloaded anyway, and the search just happens locally. So yeah, let's go with that. So that effectively means that this else clause doesn't need to happen. What? That's what I want. Is that right? I think that's right. Well, hold on. No, that isn't right. No, it's not. Jesus Christ. All I want to do, get rid of that. Yeah. So this should render. I guess it only gets entered if there's a project episode length in both cases. Well, and if a project is passed and a project episode's length is greater than 0, I think. Alright, I think that's working okay. And I think hopefully people will be satisfied with the performance of this. I mean, how often do you use a... Well, I mean, I guess that took a while, actually. But how often do you get to use a filter that operates as quickly as this? Although, what's happened here? Something happened there. I wonder if what was happening there was that the search had not completed, and I was kind of interrupting it with this by filtering this thing on and off, and it was getting in a bit of a tangle. Well, it seems to be okay now. So, yeah, I don't know. Alright, so I think we've dealt with... Something's going on here. 2 gig, is that... Is that normal? I wonder if it just accumulated all of the data, the debug stuff. I wonder if that was its problem. What's going on here? Old and new. Ah. So that was climbing. I think that seems okay. It's hovering around about 400, isn't it? Which is probably pretty insane. Like 400 megabytes. I mean, I appreciate this is a really long page. But seriously, like, is there any need for this to be 400 megabytes? I mean, for the stuff that it provides. I mean, I suppose you've got all the DOM, haven't you? So you've got basically everything in the document parsed in. So yeah, you've got all of this information. I wonder if it'd be possible to make a thing that doesn't actually bother to pass in the stuff that it doesn't need to know about. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it can somehow check out the JavaScript, see what that is even talking about, and then provided those bits of information. I don't know. I just think that, like, there's so... Well, I mean, there's a lot of information actually in here, but there's not an awful lot of actually useful information. And I'd like to try doing something that actually it kind of not really, I want to say injects, but not really what I don't want to say that. It just sort of gets a bit more meaning into these things. That's actually useful for people, and also for basically combating disinformation, really. But that's for an actual blog post at some time. So yeah, we've sorted out the JavaScript, and we can tick this off the list as well. We've nailed down how the downloaded data spinners ought to work, at least how we think it ought to work. And yeah, I guess what I'll do is I'll close the stream now, and I will consult the notes. I'll just go through these things and just pick something to address next time. So that's perfect timing. Kirsty's just finished. Thank you very much, Heroes and Heroines, for being here, for being beautiful and fantastic, and for being informative and knowledgeable and wise, and also, if this is your bag, for being data. Until next time, farewell for now.